This is my witch review like I was gonna say in my last video. Speaking of my last video, my Nosferatu one, I just wanted to go ahead and say a little disclaimer. In my opinion, I did not like that movie. And I know all the historical background, I know the rat symbolizing the Black Plague, I know all the little details and what was going on with the Germans, okay? So stop attacking me, it was just my opinion. If you liked it, great. I'm happy you liked it, but it just was not entertaining at all for me. Even with all the history with Count Orlok, it was just not entertaining or interesting or fun to me. Which I'm really disappointed because I was excited for that movie. But anyway, moving on, this is the better Robert Eggers film, The Witch. Now this movie does it right. It's very historically accurate to its timeline, but it also has an interesting, creepy, cool story. And it's short. It's not 2 hours. It's like an hour and 30. I mean, it can get boring at times, but the pacing isn't as bad as Nosferatu. Okay, so let's get started. A brief overview of the plot without giving, too much away. It's about an English settling family, William and his wife, Catherine, and their 5 kids. They get banned from their town, exiled or whatever, because they disagree with their church and they get in a little feud with it. So they leave and they go to live in the forest, and obviously there's a witch in the forest. And basically all hell breaks loose because she terrorizes them. She takes their youngest baby, Samuel, and does a witchy ritual with it, and it's honestly very disturbing. And then she continues to pick off the family and basically leave everyone paranoid, blaming each other. Although it is a Robert Eggers film, so this movie is a little more artsy, and it's not like your basic horror movie where the monster's boom, jumping out at you every second and just there. The witch kind of stays at a distance and just watches as the family completely unravels and they all yell at each other and turn against each other as they all succumb to her evil. This movie is honestly just very unsettling and unnerving. It's not necessarily scary. I'd say for scariness, it's really not scary at all. I mean, I'd give it a 4 out of 10. It's just disturbing, very eerie, makes you question a lot afterwards. You're like, what did I just watch? Because witches aren't like demons or aliens. They're humans that are evil and possess demonic abilities. And they don't just kill you for entertainment. They use your body parts or they use your blood to create things. So when she killed Samuel, she rubbed his blood all over her body and then used it to create a flying ointment. It's really disturbing, but honestly really cool. I haven't seen much witch movies yet. I mean, I've seen tons of horror movies, but not really any with the witch as the antagonist. So this movie is a really good step into that, a really good starter movie to be oh wow, this is weird. This movie also has Anya-Taylor-Joy, the better actress than Lily Rose Depp, and she was phenomenal in this movie. She played Thomasin, William and Catherine's eldest daughter, and she was just amazing. I mean, when her family all turned on her and thought she was the witch, all of their acting in this movie was great. Even Catherine, and she really got on my nerves, because she played the sad mother who wants to go back to her village, lost her kid, so she's very religious and praying all the time, but then she also blames her kid. I mean, this family wasn't very stable to begin with. I mean, I don't think most families were back in the day. I think they were all a little different from how we are now. I mean, the fact that back in the day, parents would just give away and sell off their kids when they were poor and desperate. Very different. No, the acting was just very simple. There wasn't a lot of contorting bodies. There wasn't a lot of screaming, crying. It wasn't Smile 2, Sky Riley, or Lily Rose, who was all over the place and didn't know what was going on with her. In this movie, they were just a somewhat normal family, got thrown into this chaos. I mean, they didn't summon this witch, she just found them. Now, Robert Eggers really built up the mystery in this movie. Instead of showing what the witch did right away, and showing what the witch was doing to these kids, he really had you guessing and feeling very scared, going down oh gosh, when you saw the kid come back looking disheveled, torn up. I mean, what did she do to him? And this movie was very historically accurate too for its timeline. I mean, they were pilgrims, so they talked thy and thee and big fancy words that I can't comprehend into a sentence right now. I mean, we had to turn subtitles on because we were trying to process in our minds what they were saying. So I did appreciate, even though they were hard to understand, how accurate they were to how people talked back in the day. Especially with all like the religiousness going on. I mean, people back then were super religious. I mean, this family got exiled for like questioning the church. This movie was just genius with that, especially the second oldest, Caleb, when he was going out with his father looking for Samuel, the baby who got stolen. I mean, they obviously could tell that Samuel was dead. I mean, yeah. But in religion, the second you're born with sins. So if you were to like die as a baby, you'd go to hell. Well, Caleb was freaking out and kind of questioning things. He was like crying to his dad. He's like, I don't want Samuel to go to hell. He did do nothing wrong. And the dad was kind of like, shut up. Don't question the way of the Lord. He went to hell. Just accept it. I mean, that's so messed up. So Robert Eggers did a great job portraying everything going on with the history, the religious history, the witch kind of just playing with these people's minds. I mean, she's not really doing anything. She just like is in the woods or shape-shifting as different animals. The people are mostly doing it to themselves. The family's like turning against each other, blaming each other. It's such a clever, great movie. And of course, poor Anya-Taylor-Joy, aka Thomasin, is just getting picked on. When the irony is, it wasn't even her communicating with the devil or being the witch. It was the twins, her younger siblings. And the ending just really ties everything together. The second half of the movie is phenomenal. And the final part, oh my goodness, gave me shivers. It was honestly amazing. I mean, when she became the monster that her family created. And the scene where she's just walking in the woods to all the other witches. Oh my goodness. Like seriously, this movie is so cool. The plot was fantastic. Story was fantastic. Even though this movie wasn't necessarily scary and the witch wasn't like in it 24/7, like inside their home, it was still so cool because the whole time we were like scared for the family because as the audience we knew what was out there. We're like, oh my gosh, what is she gonna do next? Like Robert Eggers kept us like on our feet the whole time while the family was going crazy. If you haven't seen this movie yet, you need to watch it. It just makes your skin crawl. It's honestly just such a unique and different movie from all the other horror movies out there. I mean, Robert Eggers is fantastic. I mean, just like the background and the scenery and the way the movie was shot, like the forest and the village, it all just really makes the movie come together. Like it wasn't very sunny ever. Everything was kind of dark, very dim, gray, kind of cold looking. Plus you add on the whole mystery of the witch. I mean, honestly, like it's just phenomenal. Now, I would say for a con, if you have like a very low attention span or just don't like kind of slower pacing movies, you're probably gonna struggle with this one a bit. It's not that long. It's not like it's 2 hours, but it is slower. It's not like your classic horror movie where the monster's like constantly there. It's a very mind-twisting movie. I mean, I did fine with it and I loved it, even though I have, according to the comments on my Nosferatu video, no attention span whatsoever. Even though I obviously do. But this movie is just a good introduction to like all the witchy stuff. And it still is pretty creepy and cool. Especially if you agree with me and saw Nosferatu and you were like, this just isn't good. If you watch The Witch, you'll like it a lot more. And you'll just appreciate the movie The Witch for its complex beauty and its amazing story and plot. And Anya-Taylor-Joy was amazing. I mean, once again, I can knock it off of her acting. It was phenomenal. And the whole mystery with the farm animals and the goat, too. I mean, that took a twist at the end. Like, we knew something was up with Black Phillip, but like, the fact that he was a devil and he turned Thomasin into a witch, I mean, holy cow. The fact that the twins were talking to him the whole time. So if you like go back and rewatch the movie then, or at least like rewind it to the scenes where the twins were like dancing around Black Phillip and they were like talking in riddles kind of and singing weird songs. They were singing the stuff that he was whispering to them. It just really added to the movie because not only was there a witch in the woods, but there was also a devil that was right by them. It was their goat. So then you really think like, wow, these people were very screwed. I mean, they could have like, you know, done some things to protect themselves from the witch, like maybe boarded up their house, whatever. They still would have had the devil right in their backyard too. There's nothing better than a movie with like a weird ending that takes a huge twist. I mean, I love movies with sad endings. Love them. This one had a sad ending when her family died, but then it went even further by having her become a witch. I mean, that wasn't like sad, it was just awesome, it was epic. And I do realize now that I basically just spoiled the whole movie, so I will be sure to put spoilers on my title. Although I was a little surprised when we saw Black Phillip in like his human form, or like his true like person, demon, Lucifer form or whatever. And he looked a lot like Jack Sparrow. I mean, he was wearing like a pirate hat and everything. I was like, oh, I was not expecting bro to look like that at all. So if you have seen this movie, I'd love to know in the comments what you think of it. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions, and make sure to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed. And hit that notification bell. I would just like to say, since apparently a lot of people didn't read the description of my last video, all mean comments will be deleted, or at least some of them. I mean, I don't really care to delete every single bad comment. Remember, if you have a different opinion than I do, let's say you hate this movie, but you liked Nosferatu, that's fine. We're all entitled to our own opinions. But just remember to be respectful about it. You can share your thoughts and feelings and say like, hey, I actually did like this movie, and then you can say why. But just don't be rude about it, because then I'm gonna delete your comment, and therefore all that effort you put into it was kind of a waste. I mean, I'm just having fun. This is like a little hobby of mine. I mean, it's really not that deep. They're just movies about like fictitious creatures that aren't even real. At the end of the day, we all differ in opinions, and that's completely fine. Just don't be an asshole. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Make sure to go check this movie out, and hopefully I'll see you around.